Hello, I'm Christina, and I'm here with Martina, and we are the podcast host for Everyday, Ordinary, Extraordinary Women. We're inspired to create this podcast after pondering this question. What would a world look like where we can be inspired by every person? Usually, we're very quick to compare and judge ourselves and others. And when we do that, everybody's losing. Depending on my point of view, I can either feel small because I come out lacking, or arrogant and dismissive because I feel superior. Those are usually the only two options from that perspective. And neither of those options make us feel very good. So here's our thought. Someone's everyday normal is someone else's extraordinary. Judgment comes from our first impressions. So we invite you, the listener, to go beyond your first impressions and see the magic everywhere. There is inspiration at every corner in everyone if we're willing to look. And so today we're happy to welcome Rae to the program, all the way from Australia. So Rae, welcome, and introduce ourselves to our listeners.
Thank you, Christina. It's beautiful to be here. So I'm otherwise known as Mama Rae. I have 4 children. I was a home mum, and then after that, it was finding me, really. So I found that I'm a cook extraordinaire, apparently, and I just love people. I think people all are extraordinary, and I just love sharing time with them. I love sharing food with them. And being on this podcast is just amazing because I'm getting to learn about other women doing extraordinary things. And I think that's amazing.
Awesome. So I know you shared a little bit with us about your cookbook, but I want to share people your little mission statement from Facebook. My mission is to bring joy and love to people through delicious and nutritious food. So I guess first of all, I'll ask you if you really knew me, you would know. But I have a feeling you're going to tell us a little bit about your nutritious and delicious stuff too. So if you really knew me, you would know
that I am a cook extraordinaire. And my secret is simple. Because I'm cooking for people I love and want to share time with, the love goes into the food. I can tell you what happened. I was cooking for this teacher, and so I'd cook her meals. She would pick them up on the way home from work. And one day she said to me, "What did you do to my food yesterday?" And I said, "Well, I don't know, nothing out of the ordinary, I don't think." And I said, "Why?" She said, because while I was eating it, she said, I would just burst out laughing. She said, "I didn't know what I was laughing at, but I was laughing." I said, "Oh, well, that's really strange. I don't know." And later, after she'd gone, I was thinking about it, and I remembered that I'd watched a comedian and his show the night before. And so while I was cooking her food, I just allowed myself to go over his show and some of the funny skits. And so I was laughing. And she picked that up in the food as she was eating it. So the same is with putting love into it. The people feel the love in the food. Somebody once said to me that there's an orgasm in every bite. I thought, "Oh, that's okay. As long as they're quiet about it, I don't mind." But people just love my food. They love the flavor. They love the nutritious, and delicious flavors.
I actually would say that it's not that much the flavors. They love the intention, and they love the presence, and they
Yes.
love the gift that your food is, right? And
Yes.
it's like the building communities. Like if you look at the Jewish tradition, they have a lot of celebrations around food, right? It's always around food. It's people coming together to share a meal, to break bread,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And that's part of what you provide with your food. So
Yes.
it's beautiful. And you know, it's like, yes, you said extraordinary. It's like ordinary in a way. It's like we need food every day. We need food for survival, but it's extraordinary in the sense of what we can provide with that food. So
Yes. And it just
Yeah.
makes it so important that that you're present when you're eating your food, and that you're not working or you're not worrying about a problem that you have. You're just eating the food.
The other thing I heard, Rae, when you were talking is that it's not so much about the food, but about the celebration with people that the food is a, I don't know, catalyst for, right? Or
Yes. Yes. I love people. I love everybody.
yeah.
I think, rather than judgment, when you see people, and I tend to look in people's eyes and I see them, and I think, they can be down and out, but there's still something in their eyes that you can't miss. It's I love people.
If you're willing to look, right?
Yes, that's true.
And
Yes.
one of the things that I always say, it's amazing how well this world works, given how dysfunctional we are as people, right? So
Yes.
it's beautiful, but bringing people together to share joy, right?
Yes.
To share a delicious meal, it's beautiful, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm.
Now, tell us something funny or silly or an embarrassing story.
Um, that's really challenging. I mean, I can't tell the story about my daughter. Um, I don't know. I do silly things all the time, but they're intentional, because why do the same thing the same way every time? But I can't really give you a specific answer to that.
that's okay. I like the answer that you gave. Just it's fun to do silly things just for the sake of doing silly things.
That's right. Yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful. I think we could all learn a lot just from that, right? I mean,
Yes, I hope so. Yeah.
So, right, tell us about your superpower. What would you say your superpower in life is?
I probably have two. One is my cooking, and two is my ability to love people for who they are. I've probably got three. Apparently, my hugs. My hugs are, as was said by someone over in London, they're worth traveling the world for. So, yes, they're my superpowers. Pretty special.
Yeah, pretty special, right?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing them with the world, right? Beautiful.
It's
So,
my pleasure.
so what do you do to fill yourself up? Like, so you can be that person, right? Because sometimes it's like, it takes something.
Well, I found that at this stage of my life, it doesn't take anything to fill me up. Everything fills me up. The sunshine fills me up. The talking with my children fills me up. Cooking for people fills me up. Talking here with you fills me up. there's everything. Life fills me up, I guess. In answer to that. There's there's not one thing more than another that fills me up. I'm just grateful for everything.
That's the word, gratitude.
Yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yes, it is.
And taking ourselves back to that moment of every day, right?
Oh, totally. Yes. Yeah. Yes. And the thing about gratitude is that the gratitude you feel in yourself for what you have and what you do and what you are ripples out to other people. You know, so it's not just a solitary me thing. You're sharing it with everybody.
Absolutely. I'm always talking about the ripples of, of what we do,
Yes.
yeah, it's exciting. It's exciting to think about.
Yes, I did read somewhere where what you're feeling ripples to 70,000 people.
70,000.
70,000.
Whoa.
Well, it's not too hard. Like if someone's having a bad day, they go to the office or they go to the supermarket or wherever they work, and then it ripples out. And then from each person there, it ripples out in a different way, but as many people. So it's easy to understand the 70,000.
It's a big number, though. It's a very big
Well,
number.
it is.
Yeah, no, but I get it. But it's also, sometimes it's just the energy, right? As I remember
Yes.
walking through Manhattan and there was this doorman who smiled at me. And my first reaction was, do I have something in my face, right? And then it was like, no, he's just smiling at me.
Yes.
And I just turned around and said, thank you for smiling at me. And just made my day, just that little act, right? And if it does that, like, and then that, like, I then go out and now that he smiled at me, I will react differently to the people around me. So yeah, I totally get it, but it still seems like a very big number. I'm like, oh, wow, that's the impact we have. How cool.
Yes. Yeah. And like if you meet 100 people in your day and they each meet 100 people, you've got your 70,000 in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
It's so true. So true.
Yes.
All right, Rae, this one, you can answer one piece of this question, or it could be all, however you want to. I'll read it to you and then you can go. So either what was your biggest lesson that you've learned in life, or what made you who you are today, or what took the most courage?
I think my biggest lesson was having my dad pass away when I was 10. He was the parent who had the same love language as me. So we shared, we touched, we said, I love you. And my mum had a different, hers was acts of service. So as a 10-year-old, as a child growing up, I didn't understand that she loved me as much as my dad, just in a different way. And so having my dad pass and being so close to him, it took me many years to realize that while he wasn't with me, he was with me energetically, but through another man. So there was always in my life somebody who was being my father. It might have been the neighbor, it might have been a man in the shop. But there was somebody. So I think my biggest lesson really was, although you lose somebody, they're still around you. They're still with you. And that's a heavy load to take with you when you know that your father's passed, and that's your conversation with people. People will say, you know, how are you feeling? Oh, blah, blah, blah. Oh, my dad passed when I was 10. and that's the baggage that I took with me, you know. And so releasing that and releasing my dad was probably my biggest lesson and my biggest blessing in this life. Yes.
Yeah, and learning how to interact with them in the non-physical, right? I mean, for me, that was the biggest challenge after my mom and then my father passed away, was learning how can I like, I know they're around me, I get that, but how do I really interact with them? And when my mom was sick, I was watching Sylvia Brown with her, and this woman was talking about loose change falling on her in the shower, which sounded so ridiculous. But Sylvia's like, that's your loved ones on the other side getting your attention. I'm like, that sounds really bizarre, but Mom, send me dimes. And my mother, to this day, over 20 years later, still, I find dimes in random places, especially when I'm having a rough day. Or now with the new, you know, speakers and Alexa that you can yell at, I'll go, Alexa, play a song. And it's always a song that meant something to either my mom or my dad or someone on the other side. And I just know it's their messages. And for me, that's the biggest way, is through music that they send me messages. But there's tons of ways that they, but
Oh,
it's,
yes.
I understand that, right? From the other
Yes.
side, that
Yeah.
how can you really talk to them and still get their messages?
I think, you know, with my father, I at 19, I was really depressed and I was ready to quit. And I stood on the edge of the cliff and just thinking about my life. And I happened to look up and there was this star in the sky shining brightly. And I know that was my dad. So, of course, I walked back off from the edge of the cliff and here I am. So, yes, they do appear in different ways. Could be just their name on a street sign when you just need a bit of a lift, really, and you just, okay, he's there. Beautiful, really, isn't it?
There's a few things about that. You like you were talking about the men in your life, right? That's the earth angels that were just there and they were sent
Yes,
to take care of you, right? And the
yes,
other part, like, yes, we want to connect with them, but there's something physical sometimes that is missing when they're not here anymore. And part of it is like us stepping into that, right? Into asking or finding what they provided for us, right? Like
yes,
with a mom in particular, like the comfort and the love,
yeah,
the,
yes,
or, like, and for the dad, the strength, or for both of them, the strength, right? But like finding that in ourselves or in other people. So on a physical level, we receive that as well.
yes, yes, that's true. That's true. I tried to find that in my first marriage. I mean, he even looked like my dad. Oh dear, yes.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Oh dear.
Yes. I had a while to grow up and really see life and see,
Well,
the
we all, it's
meaning of life.
part of the journey, right? It's part of what
is,
we came here
yes,
for, right? It's
yes,
like
that's true.
that's our purpose. We come here for it to grow, right? To grow,
Yes.
expand, vibe up, however you want to
Oh,
call
yes.
it, right? It's just let go of shit.
Yes, yes. And it's okay, I just had an epiphany the other day when while I was writing my book about me as the teenager. Kind of, I really tested the boundaries with my mum in every way possible. And like as parents, we're there to provide the emotional stability for children, the emotional intelligence for children, so that when they grow up, they know how to cope with different things. different events, and I didn't really have that, and so, you know, it took me years to find my emotional intelligence, but you know, it's all part of the learning, isn't it? Like, if I didn't have that, I'd be a different person now, and so, you know, I can say I feel blessed that my dad decided to leave it when I was 10, you know, because the learnings that I've had are now make me who I am, and what I can share now with people. And it's beautiful.
I remember Wayne Dyer saying that he needed to grow up in an orphanage. I don't know exactly how he said it, but something
Yeah.
like he needed to grow up in an orphanage to become
Mm.
self-sufficient. And that was part of his lesson, right? So he
Yes.
could become the person. So there's really, life always happens for us, right? Not
It
to us.
does.
So
That's right.
beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. So tell us about a time when you took a chance for love. And it's not necessarily romantic love. It could be self-love. It could be with regards to your children, just a chance, a time when you took a chance for love.
I think it's probably in the last few years, because I still had things to learn. I still had things to let go of. And so I can honestly say now, just in the last few weeks, that I love myself unconditionally for who I am. And so I think all the learnings I've gone through, yes, that's me taking the chance on how I feel now. Yes, and what happens in the future. Yeah.
That's pretty profound to get to that point where self-love is the most important love, right? I mean, everyone says it, right? But
Yes.
to really own it is a very, very different place than intellectually knowing, like, I'm supposed to put my needs first and whatever. But to really accept yourself 100% and love it wholeheartedly, and be willing to share it all with the world is a very different thing. And thank you for this beautiful inspiration for all of us, because just being with you for 5 minutes wants me to come to Australia and hang out with you more. So I'm sure the
That's
rest.
good. I'll be able to cook for you.
Exactly, and give me a big hug.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So you just ooze this beautiful passion for life that's electrifying, and I just want to be around you. I'm sure everyone wants to be around you. So it's delicious.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
All right. Since we're in this love fest, what do you love about your life?
I love that I get to be free to be who I am, free to do what I want, free to love who I want. Oh, whoops. Free to, I'm just free. It's exquisite. You know, I've got more books to write. I've got a parenting book to write. I've got my recipe book to finish. Yeah, I don't feel any restrictions. You know, I think what I want to do is unlimited, you know, and I'll keep on doing whatever I want.
You keep on keeping on.
I will. I will, Martina, yes.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Hmm.
So if you had a magic wand and you could give people any quality, what would it be and why?
I think I would give them the gift of awareness, because people's lives are so busy, or they've got their head in their phone. and they're missing out on what's happening around them. They're missing out on the bird song. You know, they're missing out on the beautiful breeze on their skin. They're missing out on the cute little child who's giggling away like mad. Or they're missing the hugs that the child's giving their dad or their mum. And that's the magic of life. And people are now missing out on that. And so I just love them all to be more aware and enjoy what's around them. And because when you see magic around you, you just feel like 10 times bigger, 10 times stronger. You're 10 times more in love with everything. It doesn't just stop at the viewing of it, of seeing of it. It doesn't just stop there.
And it's contagious, right? It just once again, it's the ripples, right? Because you can't help but be happy when you're around happy people.
That's right. Yes. Yeah. It's beautiful. You know, in the shopping centres, they'll have people come in and they'll be selling raffle tickets or whatever. Well, those young people remember me from time to time, you know, and like it might have been 6 months or something since they were here last. And yet they remember me. They remember my name because of it. Like, that's an amazing gift to give people, isn't it? That just to make them more aware. Yeah.
All right, here's another multi-part one that you can answer however you want. So, who or what do you want to be when you grow up? Or if you could do anything with no restrictions or no limitations, what would you want to be or do? So, kind of like time and money are not an option. What do you want to do?
Okay, so I want to be Super Mama Rae. I want to have the sparkliest, brightest coloured ape. And I just want to fly around, stopping wherever I want to stop, in cities or top of mountains, wherever. And I just want to inspire people to be who they want to be, to do what they want to do, and do it with love.
You know, the moment you started talking, I saw you flitting around, like before you even said flying, I saw you flitting around like a fairy, going here, going there, going here, going there.
Yes, hugging
We'll be the
people.
inspiration fairy.
Yes. Okay, yes. Awesome. That'd be beautiful. I'd love that. Put joy in people's lives.
Fantastic.
So, what do you want people to remember about you?
Pardon?
What do you want people to remember about you?
I want them to remember my wisdoms and my 75 wisdoms that are in my book. And I want them to live by that. I want them to be the best version of who they are because of my book, because of knowing me. I want them to be doing what they love because they're inspired by me. And I want people who are, you know, retiring, that life doesn't stop when you retire. There's a whole new life ahead of you if you took the opportunity. So I guess I want to be known as the inspiration fairy, yes. Yes, inspiring people to enjoy life.
You know, what I love is often in our society you get old and you're kind of dismissed, right? You're not worth it anymore, rather than we get to draw on your wisdom, on your beauty, on your passion, on your
yes.
love, on,
Yes.
you know, it's priceless. It's priceless.
Yes, it is. And the sad thing is that all that knowledge and wisdom goes to their grave with them. It's not shared with the young people who need it, you know, because they're lost. They don't know where they're going. They don't know what they want to do. And yet all this wisdom's being lost. And I think that's a really sad thing.
Mhm. Yeah, I think it's time to change that. But I think the change is coming actually. So
yes.
but I wanted to quickly, you know, because you talk about your book and I'm not sure the listeners know about your book. So if you could just give us like just before, you know, and we're going to talk a little bit later about what you do, but just tell them a little bit about your book. So you're turning 75.
I'm turning 75. I'm in April. And my daughter told me 4 months ago that I needed to write a book to tell people what I do that allows me to be vital and energetic and full of life at 74. So she said, just write down everything you do that allows you to be like that. So I did. I wrote down 75 different things that I do on a regular basis. And so they're just short pieces, 500 words, so they're not long. And each one describes what I do. There's a story sometimes with the words, but it's encouragement for people to take on those things, you know, like hugging, you know, the importance of hugging.
I was like, I definitely want a copy of that book. So
yeah, so there's a lot of things. There's about smiling, there's hugs, there's about eating healthy, there's about eyesight, you know, and doing your eye exercises every day. And because, like, you know, I'm 70, almost 75, and I don't wear glasses. And you know, just being healthy helps in so many ways. You know, I haven't been to a doctor. I haven't been ill for, you know, 40 years almost. And that in itself is amazing for your self-esteem, for your for everything, really. So this book, I hope, will be the inspiration for a lot of people to change some things they want to change. So to be launched on my birthday next month.
yay. Another April baby, Christina.
I know. Martina and I are both April also.
Oh, are you? I'm 22.
I'm 18th. Martina's the 20th. So bam,
Wow.
bam.
Wow. All right. I'll think of you on those days.
And the same here, yes. We'll all be celebrating.
I'm having two parties. I'm launching my book on the 20th, and then I'm having my birthday party on the 22nd.
I love it. You should be celebrating all month. The older I get, the longer my birthday celebrations get. You know.
Yes. Me too. Well, I might start on the 18th.
There you go.
Yes.
So, Rae, what would you say you're most grateful for?
Wow. I'd probably have to say I'm most grateful for my dad, you know, for what he taught me in the 10 years that he was alive. You know, I learned about finances. I learned about loving people. I learned about farming. I learned so much from him. And when I think about it, you know, it was all compacted into 10 years. And so my learning from him was pretty special, really, which I didn't realize until just now, actually. Wow, yes. So I think, and that he chose to leave at that time. I just think I'm so grateful for that, because I don't know. He encouraged me to explore knowledge, explore, you know, the world really. And I think if I hadn't have had that as growing up, I'd be a different person. I probably wouldn't be here. I'd be back around my family. So I'd say that's what I'm most grateful for.
He sounds like a really spectacular person and perhaps your own little inspiration fairy, you know. He's probably still around you, inspiring. Or I see my dad as the screw up fairy, which is really funny in and of itself. My dad looked like Santa Claus. He was a big man, so I picture him in his same, big self, but in a Peter Pan outfit. And anytime anything goes wrong, I just start laughing because I picture this and I just see him with his magic wand dosing out and laughing and chuckling that he's causing mischief. So
Yes.
I'd like to see your dad around. That would be nice too.
He is around. I know he's around.
I could feel it. Just you speaking about him, I could feel the huge heart around us. And so I'm very clear he's smiling proudly to know that in that short span of time, he made such a profound influence in your life. And yeah,
I am
really beautiful.
Ever so grateful.
So last question.
Yes.
What are you most proud of, or what you consider your biggest accomplishment? It might be the same, it might be something different. So
as a mum, well, actually, when I was going through primary school, it was a really small school. There were 24 children, so small school. I was in my grade with one other person. His mother was the relief teacher, and he was one of 10 or 11, big family. And when he wasn't in school, he always had his head in a book. And while I used to come first in all the lessons, he came first in English. So it must have been at that point I decided I'm going to read to my children. So I did, and my fourth child, my youngest, she listened to me read to her older sister, who just needed to know everything. So we read about multiple kinds of books, from how things worked to pelagic fish. So while I'm reading, my youngest daughter's inside my womb. She's listening to all of this and listening to the storybooks, and I put everything into the stories. I'd become the characters and like different voices and all that. So it was a lot of fun. And because I didn't really believe in children watching television, I would read to her older sister 3 times a day. It might be an hour and a half. Sometimes it'd be 2 hours, because if she was Asperger's, so if she brought 10 books, I had to finish reading the 10 books. And we did that every day. It didn't matter whether I was feeling off or tired or whatever. I still had to read every day. So when Emily was born, it's no surprise that she's an inspiring writer. But her gift of words is amazing. Her gift of hearing words is amazing. We can go and hear someone speak, and 6 months later she can almost word for word relate what they said. So I think that's probably my greatest achievement, really, that she's now inspiring the world with her words. And to see your child do that is inspiring, and it's beautiful. She's on path. She's doing what she loves. And because I read to her for, I don't know, over 4,000 hours in total, it was a lot. Yes, I think that's probably it. It's more than something I've done for me, although, you know, I think my achievement for myself has been my lifelong learning. You know, like you both love to learn new things. You know, and it does wonderful things for your brain as well. You know, this continual learning. I couldn't live without that.
Yeah, and that's definitely a gift from my parents too. Same thing.
Yes.
My parents read to us and had, lots of, my dad loved to just teach us about anything we asked about. He'd get out the
Yes.
books. You want to learn about an engine? Here, we'll learn about an engine, or art books, and they just love to just, spark our curiosity and let us go. And so yeah,
Yes.
definitely my parents are our greatest inspiration of why I am the way I am today. And I thank them every day for making me
Yes.
and use my brain and read and
Yes.
yeah, and keep looking for what makes me happy, right? Like
Yes.
ultimately that's what it's all about. It's about feeding our souls and finding
Yes.
what makes us happy. So
Yes.
yeah.
And it doesn't matter what level, meaning age, it doesn't matter what level you are in your life. You can always learn new things, and you know, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes, I've chosen not to be 75 years old. I've chosen now to be 75, level 75. So from here on out, I'm having levels.
I think yes, you've achieved that level. Yes.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, yes.
Mhm. Another empowering conversation to take on.
Oh, yes. It is.
So you have a business. Do you want to tell us about what you do, and like maybe you have an offer, or how can people find you? Like
Well, I teach people how to cook gluten, dairy, and refined sugar-free food with love. So I'm about to launch my online business, so people will be able to find it through there. I make videos of my cooking, and then that goes online. People can watch it, or they can buy the ingredients and cook along with me. And that's where I hope to share in time all the wisdom that I have. And that's Mama Rae's Soul Food, and my book.
that's on Facebook, or is that a website?
Facebook. There is a website, mamarae.com.au.
Okay.
Mm.
And I was going to say, it's a good thing that you're online, because people are all over here. So yes.
Yes. Yes. And my book will be released next month. So, yes.
Beautiful.
Big
Can you say
year.
the website again?
mamarae.com.au.
Mamarae.com.au.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
Facebook is?
Mama Rae Soul Food.
Very good. And it's going to be in the notes. So
Yes.
just so that's clear.
Yes.
Very good. So thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing your joy and your passion with us. We loved having you. Thank you for getting up very, very early for us.
Thank you, Martina, and thank you, Christina. It's been an absolute pleasure.
You're very,
meeting you both, and what you're doing is extraordinary.
thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you. Now, thank you all of you out there and listening. If you love this, please leave us a review and or share, please share. And please always remember that you are extraordinary. You rock. Until next time. Christina, you want to say bye?
Bye for now.